Yeah. I feel like I need to learn guitar. Like I need to learn guitar or cut my hair. One of those two things needs to happen. Otherwise, there's just no excuse for me to look like this. Like like either I cut my hair or I learn guitar, I join a band, we start practicing, we get a manager, we start gigging, we start releasing SoundCloud samples of garage rock tracks, and I gaslight every woman in my life. Or I just get a simple haircut. One of those two things needs to happen. Because I get profiled as like a musician a lot. Which is it's not a bad thing. Usually people just think I'm like cooler than I actually am. It feels bad being like, dude, do you play guitar? I'm like, no, I do comedy. They're like, oh yeah, right. They're like, cause it's nice. Usually they're like, dude, you look like a rock star. I'm like, thanks. You look like a stranger. You look like someone I've never seen before in my life. But only once in a while it's like bad. Like I was doing a show recently that these three of these people were at, where somebody yelled out, "Boy, this Steve Perry guy sucks!" I was like, how can you be that big of a Journey fan and still be this angry? Like, I thought Journey fans were passive people, but apparently I was wrong. So I said the meanest thing I could to defend my honor to an angry Journey fan, which was, of course, dude, I hope you stop believing. I wish you and I would go our separate ways and become worlds apart, alright? Any way you want it, that's the way you can kiss my ass, alright? No, that's not what I said in the moment. that was written. What I actually said was, a heckler! And I cried about it for 2 days to my girlfriend. Yeah. But you folks seem nice. You're a lovely crowd so far. So a hand for all of you. This is lovely. Thank you so much to the Beer Diviner for having the SUNY Purchase stand-up comedy club. I've never been paid for stand-up comedy before, and I don't know if it's deserved. But I'm glad to be here. Thank you. Recently, I was walking down the street, and some sort of a shady criminal character said, "Hey kid, you want to buy some Adderall?" And I said, "Oh no, thank you, no." And I kept going, and I was like, "Is it that obvious that I need Adderall?" Like, the guy could have looked at me and gone, alright, I see the hair, I see the outfit, this guy might be a stoner, I'm gonna try to sell him some weed. But no, he looked at me, he clocked me right away. He was like, this dude watches TikTok and YouTube at the same time, and he needs this.
Yeah, I know.
But I actually did, I got diagnosed with ADHD recently. Yeah, and it would really help me with schoolwork and help me with regular work, except for I got diagnosed 2 weeks after graduating college, which I feel it's kind of like running a race, like coming in first, celebrating, and then your coach comes up to you right after the race and he's like, "Dude, that was great! Guess what? You haven't had feet this entire time!" I was like, oh yeah, I was feeling kind of wobbly back there. I was wondering how they were getting all that bondage. But no, I'm still glad to have the diagnosis to get some treatment for it, because like it helps with my job. It helps. I gotta focus a lot on my job. I'm not like something serious. I'm not like a surgeon just going, okay, Okay, there's the heart. There's the clock. There's the guy who I saw last week. No, he's not. I was just thinking of him. Oh, right, the artery, the artery. No, I just work at Lowe's. But there's still, like, a lot to focus on at Lowe's. Like, you would be surprised. Like, everything happens at Lowe's. I swear to God, go to any Lowe's near you and just tell a manager that somebody was born in lawn and garden and somebody died in lumber. They won't blink. They'll just be like, okay, call code 50 to lawn and garden and call a code 3 out to lumber. Like, how often do you deal with this? But honestly, like, I've learned so much from working at, just being a regular customer service person at Lowe's. Like, I learned one thing. I learned that there's no need for subtlety when you're trying to steal 2 chainsaws. You can just pick that up and run, apparently. No one's gonna stop you. How could we? In one fell swoop, you become the most wanted and most dangerous person in all of Lowe's. I saw it happen, and a guy I just admire him. Just charged past the gates, swinging 2 chainsaws. It was like, you're an inspiration, sir. Like, Ocean's 11 had nothing on you. What that movie would have been, how different that movie would have been if they just came in just pinwheeling like 2 like a tornado. There's another lady who stole with just like no regard for what anybody thought of her, which I just found like vaguely cool and socialist. She just put all of the most expensive items in the cart. Just all the generators and a lot of DeWalt tools and batteries and stuff. And she wheeled it out to the front. And the alarms on all of these things just start going off like it's an ambulance cart that she's just wheeling. People are looking around like there's a fire drill going off. And I'm standing right at the registers. And I looked over to her and I said, in like my best customer service voice, I just said, "Excuse me, ma'am. Would you like to pay for any of that, or would you rather steal it?" And dead on, she looked straight at me and she said, "Steal." I wasn't gonna stop her. She was honest. I'll tell you what, I'd rather hear 100 honest thieves say that they're stealing rather than hear one more person say, "I'm gonna go to Home Depot." God. Every time I'm just like, I hope you hit your thumbs with this hammer, lady. Eat mulch. Because, like, it's the same store. It's the same, what do you think you're going to find at Home Depot that you didn't find here? Yeah, sure, one's blue, one's orange. If you're colorblind, you don't know the difference. You don't know. And I know that because one guy asked me while I was on my job to call Home Depot and ask them if they had a product. And usually, that's like consorting with the enemy. That's not allowed at all. So usually I wouldn't have done it, but this guy had like a really good reason. He was really physically disabled. He had like a veteran's cap on, so I was just like, I can't say no to this dude. Plus, who cares if they're going to Home Depot? I don't care. So I told one of my coworkers, I was like, just make sure no managers come to the back, and I'm gonna call really quick, okay? See if we have this roundup. and I did, but I felt like I called the outside lawn and garden section of Home Depot, and I felt like I was like in the Matrix, because because in Lowe's we have two sections of Roundup. We have one for, just so you know, if you're ever looking for Roundup, at Lowe's there's a section for grass and weed, like lawn Roundup, and there's a section for bushes and trees, and they're just right next to each other. And I call him up and I ask him about a very specific bushes and trees type of Roundup that we didn't have in. And the guy says, the guy from Home Depot says, it doesn't look like we have anything for bushes and trees. It's mostly grass and lawn stuff here. I don't think we have that in, sir. And I was just like, look to your left. You should see a bay of tree and shrub Roundup. The dude was like, Morpheus? Do you see me right now? Please, I don't want, I want to take the blue pill. I work at Home Depot. Get me out of here. But they didn't have it either. They're the same store. I want to go to Home Depot. I hope you like orange. Cool. But like honestly, some of the angry customers are the funniest. You know, it keeps the job like interesting at least. Like I had this one lady who was really upset that we were selling the bird baths in two different pieces. You know, I don't know how to explain this any other way, but there's like the elevated puddle part and the puddle elevator, and those were being sold separately. You understand what I'm saying? And she was irate about that fact. And she said to me, in total seriousness, she said, you know what? Once I do buy this, now that we figured out how it's priced, I want a discount. Because you have wasted a fortune of my time. No, wait, hold on. That's not how she said it. How she said it was... Skywalker, you have wasted a fortune of my time. And I would like a discount on this bird bath. Because who talks like that at Lowe's? A fortune of my time? Like the only possible reasons to say you have wasted a fortune of my time are either A, you're a supervillain, B, you're a 17th century poet brought back from the dead to do some gardening, or C, you have parked on a meter. Because then it would be literally, then I would feel bad that I had literally wasted a fortune of her time. But that didn't seem likely. I'm going for the supervillain. There's another mad customer who I liked. We had run out of, and this, this actually is bad. And I didn't write this, but this is bad. We run out of watering cans a lot, like in the middle of summer when they're necessary. That's weird. We shouldn't do that. I'm gonna give him like total props. He should be mad about this. But pretty much he came in, he was like, do you have any watering cans? I said, no. And he said, you don't have any watering cans? Next thing you know, they're gonna be letting illegal immigrants across the Mexican border. And that one caught me so off guard that I just started laughing. I was just like, oh my God, right, yeah. And he was like, why are you laughing? I drove 10 miles to get here. And then I started laughing more because that's not very far. It's not impressive. But it just got me thinking, like, what is this guy's form of the Illuminati that's running the world? Where, like, the Ithaca Lowe's supply of watering cans is directly linked to the United States' immigration policy. I want to live in his head for a little while. See what scares me, see what doesn't. Clearly, all the illegal immigrants are buying the water. She's figured it out. Harley Davidson, everyone, by the book. It's all in here. Okay, where was I? ADHD, sorry. Right. But I kind of get that guy's perspective. Like, I do. Because the world is, like, really confusing these days. I don't know what to believe. There's all this climate change and everything. And I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what to believe anymore. Because, like, if climate change is real, don't you think Santa Claus would have said something about it by now? Don't you think he would have spoken up? The guy's my hero. The guy's my personal hero, because I thought, I heard about him when I was young, and I thought, I want to be just like this guy. I want to be fat. I want to give I want a lot of people to give me cookies, and I want to work once per year. Anyways, that's kind of a tangent. That doesn't have anything to do with what's coming up next, but like, the world is scary. It is weird. Like, not everything that happens at Lowe's is like directly funny. Like, so there's some like scary stuff that just happens at your local Lowe's. It's strange. Like, I was helping this woman find some dog-eared fence posts, which are they're just fence posts. They're like special. They're cut different. And I hate dog-eared fence posts, man. They're like it's weird that like a real nemesis of mine is dog-eared fence posts. Like, I never thought that would happen, but every summer, they're miscounted and they're mispriced and they're in the wrong area, and it always causes a problem. So she comes up, and it was the end of the season. I thought we weren't going to sell anymore. She's like, "Hi, I'm just here looking for like 90 dog-eared fence posts, untreated." And I was just like, "Oh yeah, the dog-eared." Right, of course, the dog-eared fence posts. I'll show you right to them. And I walk her back, and there's just none in the section that I'm in. And I scan it, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see. Usually they're here, but sometimes they're in lumber. And then she starts getting a little bit irritated, because she's like, I just came from lumber, and they told me they were in outside lawn and garden. So I don't think I want to walk all the way back to lumber if they don't have any. And I was like, no, I understand. And then I scan it, and I'm like, but it says we have, and I read it, -700 dog-eared fence posts in stock at the Ithaca Lowe's. And I'm like, I'm no Pythagoras or anything, but I'm pretty sure that would mean we owe someone or something 700 planks of wood. I don't know how to explain that to this woman, but immediately my attention is completely grabbed away from me, and away from the conversation, and away from the dog-eared fence posts, because my manager's manager, like the head of the store, is walking down the aisle with a customer who they are not speaking to each other at all. This is a very friendly man. He's worked in customer service for a long time. Completely silent with this customer. The customer is dressed in all in black. It's a tall young man. On his cart, there are only 10 versions of the same gasoline tank, with just plastered around his cart signs of like flammable, keep away from children. And this man is sobbing. He's crying in the Ithaca Lowe's at 4 p.m. on a Sunday. And he's walking with my manager, and they're not saying anything. And they're walking towards me and my customer, who's already upset. I don't want her to have to deal with this, so I just say to her, "Oh, well, hold on a minute, ma'am. I'll keep checking my phone, but let's go into the AC. Let's walk through the doors. Let's get in here." And I just usher her out as fast as I can, away from this scenario that's playing out next to me, and I'm pretending to like do some wizardry to correct the negative 700 fence posts that I simply have no access to. I can't do any. I have no powers like that. But in the meantime, I'm watching this scene playing out, and my manager and this crying customer they turn the corner, and as they do, my manager puts his hands on the cart, and he wheels it away from the customer. And the customer just like looks at his hands where the cart used to be. And then he like covers his eyes with his hands, and he's crying in the middle of the aisle. And I just think to myself like, oh my God, this man was going to burn something. Like this man was aiming for something like horrible. Like that's an arsonist right there. I've never seen an arsonist in real life. I was like, oh, this is nuts. This is heavy. This is not fit for a comedy show. And then, but I was wrong, because then the woman next to me said, I think I'd rather go to Home Depot. And I was like, what are you still doing here? Don't you know we're in danger? but that's where I should end the set, because it's like a nice callback. But that's like a dark story. At Home Depot, I'd rather end the set talking about my personal favorite customer who's come to Home Depot. No, Lowe's, sorry. I would not associate with those people in Home Depot. It's the same store. Who are we kidding? It's the same store. But my favorite customer of all time is this 90-year-old Italian man who wanted a lot of fencing. And I know that because I know all of that because immediately when he came into the store, he was like, I'm looking for some fencing. I'm 90 years old and I'm Italian. And I was like, I want him. That's my customer. None of you other Lowe's employees touch him. He's mine. And I'm like, right here, sir. I'll take you to the fence panels. And we load him up. And this is the perfect kind of Lowe's customer, because he knew not only did he know exactly what he wanted, but he also was willing to tell me the entirety of his life story. And that's what I want from a Lowe's customer. Both simple directions to follow and the secrets. So I start loading them up into his car, and we're chatting, and I make a one fatal flaw. And I'm like, so you're from Italy, that's amazing. My grandmother, she's from Alberobello in Italy. And he was like, oh, that's fantastic, I know that place. And I was like, great. And it wasn't a mistake, because like it was true. My grandmother emigrated from Italy as well as my grandfather. But when you tell old Italian people that you're Italian, they're just like, oh, he's seen it all before. I can let loose the full crazy on him. So I finished loading up all of his fence paneling, which he wanted like one in one side and then one in the other, which was usually I would complain about, but he was telling me about like all the cuisine that he cooks and how great Italy is. So I was just enjoying myself. And then at the end of it, he's like, all right, son, for all your hard work, and he pulls out his wallet. And this was my first year working at Lowe's, so I was trying to like play it safe, follow all the rules, all of that. And we are not supposed to take tips because we're paid above minimum wage, or we used to be. We're paid above minimum wage, and it's against store policy, and they warn you about it over and ad nauseum in the training. So I was trying to keep on the good side of Lowe's, and I was like, oh no, sir, and I gave him that little spiel that I just gave you, and he leans in close to me as if to whisper a secret, and then he just shouts in my face, those cocksuckers got cameras on you, kid! I was like, cameras? No, this is Lowe's. I don't think my manager knows I work here. And he just grabs my hand, he puts the $5 in, and he just yells at me, "Don't let them ever take nothing from you, kid! Never let those fuckers ever take nothing from you!" And I've taken every tip since. Because I'm scared for my life. Alright, everybody, I've been Jack Alano. Thank you so much. Hey, Ivan.